Hello, I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Tuesday and welcome to our series Pagan Problems. This week we are discussing the theme Can't See the Forest for the Trees. Someone who can't see the forest for the trees is a person who misses the point of something, and this compromises both their intellectual outlook and also the actions that they take based upon that outlook. This can and does occur to us all in many areas of life. And today I want to bring up three areas within the pagan sphere in which this most often occurs so we can be more aware of potential pitfalls that we might trip into, and also so we can think about how to break ourselves out of these patterns if we do get stuck in them. So, the first, too much academia, too little spirituality. Over the past 2 to 3 years, there seems to have been a bit of a race over who has the most historically accurate information because they win. This starts in a good place, just wanting to know what can be known about our ancestors' beliefs and practices. It can be very instructive, and I certainly wouldn't discourage that on basic principle. But somewhere along the way, it seems to have turned into a bit of a pissing contest and a rejection of any modern adaptation, as if we aren't living in a different world than what our ancestors are. And, yes, it's true. Today, we pagans, we do things differently, and we do take a different view from what our ancestors may have had. But does this mean that people ought to be condemned? I mean, I don't really think so. I suspect the purity tests of these kind are kind of a leftover of a monotheistic mindset. And, it can be very hard to deprogram ourselves from that, particularly if we came from a strong monotheistic background before coming to paganism. So what I think can help us readjust ourselves is realizing that what really matters are pagan principles. The exact form of our rites and our rituals and who did what, where, when, and why. This is something that evolves. It evolved in pre-Christian times and it continues to evolve today. Now, our understanding of certain concepts is different because our world is different. We face different challenges and we are having different conversations than what our ancestors did. Our task as pagans is to apply pagan principles and to build a relationship with the gods, and the rest is details, preferences, and what is actually practical. Now, the second thing is too much information collecting, too little application. Now, how information is used is what separates an eclectic practitioner from someone who isn't actually getting spiritual benefit from their intellectual pursuits. Paganism is not about studying to pass a test or about turning ourselves into an expert on world religions. It's about connecting with the divine, becoming part of a modern pagan culture in order to become better people and hopefully form healthy societies. If we can't look back on what we've been studying and see how it's had an effect on our lives, it's probably time to take a step back from the books and the articles and the videos and instead do some meditating and put things into practice. Now for our third thing. Too much quoting, too little living. Our culture as it stands is prone to creating cults of personality around prominent people who we admire. One of the dangers of this is that we stop thinking for ourselves and start substituting, well, so-and-so says, as an answer for everything. Now, personal autonomy and responsibility is a pagan virtue, and I believe this holds true for most, if not all, of the pagan paths. And this requires being intellectually engaged and being able to offer your own opinions and be able to reason on ideas that you encounter. And when you discover information, being able to kind of extrapolate from that and think about, okay, if this is so, then what does that mean? We have a need to be able to make our own assessments and judgments, to put them into practice, live with the results, and then grow in wisdom as we learn from both success and failure. No one else can do that for us, just as no one else can breathe for us. Now, these three examples that I've briefly provided today, these are not the only examples about how we can miss the point of our spirituality, but they are common pitfalls worth mentioning. So the real task for us now is to look in our own mirrors and examine whether or not our beliefs and practices are actually serving the purpose of spirituality, or if it's time for us to make a few changes. And that's where I'd like to leave this today. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below, or even better yet, come tell us about it on Blackbird's Brew on Discord. There's a link to join in the description box below. We would be very happy to talk to you. But I think that does it for now, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.